Learning to read for some kids can seem effortless, but it's actually complicated. Our brains were not designed to read. There isn't one place in the brain for reading. Instead, there is a circuit connecting the major parts that are needed. When each child learns to read, they are rearranging their brains to create a reading circuit. Brain imaging allows scientists to see what is happening in the brain when a typical student is reading and how it is different with dyslexic students. Typical readers use several areas of the brain, primarily in the left hemisphere, as they become experienced readers. The parietal temporal lobe is located right here, and this is where one breaks down a word into sounds. So for example, cat has 3 sounds. Flat has 4 sounds. That has 3 sounds. It is integrated with the occipital temporal lobe, which is located right here. This is where the brain stores information about the appearance of a word. It is sometimes called letter-word recognition. At some point, readers begin to recognize words by sight rather than having to sound out the word each time. The more we see a word, the less likely we are to have to sound it out. The reader can quickly identify the word here. The frontal lobe is right here. It's also called Broca's area. This area helps us pronounce the word. Here we have the brain scans of a typical reader and a dyslexic reader. The typical reader is developing the brain circuitry. You can see all 3 areas are in place. Difficulty in attaching sounds to letters is at the heart of dyslexia. The brain imagery has shown scientists why. They found that some areas of the brain of dyslexic readers are not activated. You can see it's missing here, in the same way as the reader that is not dyslexic. Having difficulty processing sounds creates a delay in developing the reading circuitry as well. Brain imaging has also shown very promising news. The brain is able to rearrange itself given the right intervention. The research shows that if the student is given very specific, very intense instruction on the rules of phonics and how language is structured, then changes in the brain can occur. This can occur at any age if it has the correct intervention. Neurologists are continuing to study the brain in dyslexia. 2 topics currently being looked at are whether dyslexic readers are primarily using the right hemisphere of their brain instead of the left hemisphere. The left hemisphere is more efficient with reading. The other topic being studied is whether there are strengths linked to those with dyslexia. These include seeing the big picture and also having better visual or spatial skills. For more information, I recommend looking at different books, videos, or blogs by Dr. Sally Shaywitz, Dr. Marianne Wolf, Dr. Genevieve Eden, and Joan Sedita, as well as the Nyhouse Center of Houston. There are great tools available for those that want to help children that struggle to read.